Hello, I'm so excited. It's
Hi,
the second episode of the Buyer Seller, and thank you so much, Leo, for saying yes to this. I'm
very
excited.
happy to be here.
You're welcome. And so, everyone, Leo Benkel is the founder of Pure Lambda, and I'm just going to pass it over to you, Leo, to share a bit more about what Pure Lambda is all about.
So my name is Leo Benkel and I'm the founder of Pure Lambda. So after spending 10 years in San Francisco as a data engineer, I now moved back to Europe in Luxembourg and I help European startup adopt the Silicon Valley practices that works in the tech industry. I also help investment funds with their due diligence. I also support startups of their portfolio. I also do CTO interim. So all the tech side of things.
Amazing, amazing. Sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of work.
Yeah,
Okay,
long
so,
weeks.
yeah. All right, so we're here to talk about the buyer seller. And if you've seen the first episode, you know that this is all about giving the buyer a voice in the selling process because we have a lot of sellers teaching how to sell. And I just thought, let's hear what buyers think. How would they like to be sold to? So without further ado, I want to know what solutions are people trying to sell you as founder of Pure Lambda?
Yeah. So for my personal experience, I'm only gonna talk about really what I know, which is, like the SaaS industry, the tech industry. So I won't be talking about, physical products that much.
Okay.
But from my experience, I'm receiving a lot of email and LinkedIn and automated messages specific, but it's interesting because I think people don't know where to categorize me and my company because it's a startup, but it's just me working as a consultant. So I help startup. I'm not a startup myself per se, but the email I receive are like, here we can sell you like a team of developers. And I'm like, well, I don't need it. One of them that was interesting for me is like, I receive a lot of email to get a Wikipedia page. And that was very surprising to me. I'm like, really? Is that the thing? I mean, that would be fun to have a Wikipedia page, but it feels more scammy than really a product that they sell. So it's like really always on the edge.
Wow.
Also, there's a lot of products specifically for startup. You know how to host a lot of data because of my background in data engineering.
Mhm.
I get marketed a lot of like data product or pipeline product. And every time they email it to me as if I was a startup with a product that I'm developing, which doesn't always work. But on the other hand, the things that I receive that are pretty interesting for me might be related to marketing or branding or automation. Because I don't want to grow my team, I try to automate as much as possible. And those sometimes pique my interest.
Hmm. That's so interesting because I'm just here thinking that sounds like personalization. That's what
Yeah.
personalization is all about, understanding your buyer and reaching out to them with things that are relevant to them. And so you're saying there's a bit of confusion where to place you when
Yeah.
people are doing that research on you. So it's like it's not just filtering by founders of
Yeah.
something. It's like going deeper to see what exactly have they founded and what
Yeah.
would
That
be
would be helpful.
relevant to them. Yeah. So now I'm thinking, okay, you also mentioned people think I have a team, but it's just me. How would I, as an SDR, know that, okay, this is a solopreneur and what I'm saying about something that would benefit a team may not be relevant to him? Would that be like your LinkedIn post or I'm just thinking, how do I
Well,
do that research?
as if you would do an investigation, automated it, I'm not really sure. But if you just open my LinkedIn, for instance, you see that I mentor the startup. I have like an investor profile. So it's not, I don't advertise about any product anywhere. So it's like, it's really obvious that it's not like a typical startup with a product. Like I'm not a fintech startup or something.
Yeah. So that's like, you have to put your thinking hat on, be able to draw
Yeah.
inferences. SDRs are really, and BDRs are really investigators.
Yeah.
On the
And for me, because I have my personal brand is kind of like my livelihood. So I am not being shy on LinkedIn. Like if you go on LinkedIn, I have posted all over the place that, and it's very obvious that I'm like futurist, a tech thinker, but I don't sell a product. I sell my time and my expertise.
Amazing. All right. So do you have any memorable prospecting experience from a seller? What made it memorable?
Well, to be fair, I'm not the typical target because I really hate prospecting when I'm a target, right? I'm the typical guy, when I go shopping for clothes, I know exactly what I want. I go to the stores that I know and I buy what I need and that's it. I rarely go around for shopping without having a goal. And I think it's similar for product. Either I have a goal in mind and then I'm gonna do my research and find the products that I want, but being targeted out of the blue with no motivation from my side will very, very rarely work. Sometimes the bad experience before talking to the good ones will be like when someone reach out to me and I see it's a startup. So for me, I'm like, okay, I can sell my services. Maybe they need help. Maybe they want my help to build up their team or to develop their product. And the conversation really aged on the side where I don't know if they're trying to sell me something or if they need my help. So then we set up a call and then finally it's a sale meeting. And I'm like, okay, so you could have told me like way earlier, because now I'm trapped in a 30-minute call listening to their product that I have no intention of buying. And so I think being more upfront about, okay, here's a sales message. I want to tell you about this product because I'm looking for customers. That would be a lot helpful for everybody because then we don't waste time. In terms of good experience, I think it's really like my best experience are with the SaaS platform, without prospecting. Like, I don't know, Calendly, Wise, Stripe. You go on their website, you create your account, you start with a free trial, you see if that's a good fit, and you sign up, and that's it. You don't have to talk to anyone. You don't have to do anything, everything is automated. Like Calendly is the first thing I purchased when I created my company. And it's because I know about it from word of mouth. I don't even need to get prospected or have marketing or anything. The product is good. The customer experience is great. The free tier is very generous. And it's very easy to update to any features that you need when you need it. So it's like the perfect experience. You don't even need salespeople. I don't know if they even have salespeople at Calendly. They don't need it because the product is good.
Okay, you've touched on so many things that are hot topics right now, and I'm going to just let me start with transparency. People saying, oh, just come, we need feedback. And especially with you being somebody who's
Yeah.
a consultant. So you're going in there thinking, oh, I'm going to go add value to this startup and, be of service. And then you end up being sold. That is
Yeah.
not, that doesn't sound like fun at
And I
all.
also have the same thing on the other side where it's like someone show me the pitch deck and I'm like, okay, do you want me to give you feedback or are you targeting me as an investor? And it's either or, but sometimes it's not very clear.
Oh, yeah. So being clear, that clarity is so important. And it's something that in the sales world, people like, oh, I just want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Um, and
But
then
the trap coming.
it's really about selling. But I think because this is something I'm an SDR and I reach out to people and sometimes like, oh, are you trying to sell me something? And I say, I'm not trying to sell you anything on this call. I just want
Yeah.
to learn more about your work. And yes, I'm representing a company and yes, I'm leading towards a meeting that will be a sales conversation eventually. But on that first call, I'm really just trying to learn if there
Yeah.
might be a fit. So I think there's a balance there with actually going out with curiosity because I mean
For
someone
sure.
reached out to you and said, hey, this is what we do, and I'm just trying to see if it's going to be valuable. And they find out on that call that, oh, you don't have a team, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Then they've learned something and they can move on. And if they
But
keep
sometimes I
trying,
go to a meeting and they start showing me the product right away without even like knowing what I do, knowing what I want. It's like,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh, interesting product, but not for me. Sorry.
Okay. So that transparency and
Yeah.
being very clear about what you're about is very important. The other one I want to dig into is what you said. I mean, you said so many things. about being motivated and product-led growth, which is you being able to do your research as, based on your motivation or that trigger that makes you say, okay, I need this.
Yeah.
You're able to do your research and go through the whole sales process and even
Yeah,
buy
and it
product.
happened. Literally happened just like about a month ago. I wanted a mailing list for my website, which I just announced it today on LinkedIn. Actually, that now it's public. And so I went online and I searched to like every mailing list SaaS platform. I signed up to like 4 or 5 of them, trying the free trial for each of them to see which one is my need, and then I settled on one, and that's it. Like I didn't talk to anyone.
Yeah, okay. That's worrisome on one hand because because I'm a salesperson and I'm just being honest because these are things we're seeing. People are talking about
Yeah.
chat GPT. Are you going to be relevant as a salesperson it's already happening, right? And it's just being accelerated with AI and so many things. But some companies
But
are still resisting that product-led growth, that whole process that eliminates that interaction. And in fact, I saw a research recently where I think John Barrows was sharing this, where people say they prefer to buy without talking to anyone. And so that's
but
it.
on to bounce back on this, I think there will be a transition in the role of the salesperson, which will be more post-sale, I think, because the best experience
Yeah.
I've had is when I sign up and I'm kind of curious and then I'm being frustrated because
Hmm.
something doesn't work. And like, I don't know how they know, but I receive an email being like, if you need help, we can hop on a chat and we can
Sure.
help you, install it for you. And I'm like, it's amazing. Like, that's what I want. I was
Exactly.
actually someone sent me a message on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is where it works the best for me is an email. And they
Hmm.
were advertising like a lead generating automation with LinkedIn and everything, and they really like talk to me because I'm an engineer, so they really talk to me like, how do you do this, how do you do that, like use case basic. And that was really good for me, so I almost signed up. And then they were telling me, once you sign up for like 60 days, we help you set up everything because we're a small team, we want you to have the best experience. And that for me is really valuable, so I'm seriously considering uh purchasing this SaaS platform because of this good experience. And
Yeah.
then with the support as I'm signing up, that's really promising to me. But then I got a bit like cold because one of their salesperson keep harassing me on LinkedIn, being like, "Why aren't you signed up yet? Like,
Oh,
when do you
wow.
think you're gonna be able to go?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, that makes me feel like I don't want to now."
Wow. That is so, oh, wow. Leo, you're just
Yeah,
bringing out so many things. So you've actually said something. This was a cold outreach and you warmed up to it because it was specific, it was use
yeah.
case based, it understood your persona. So there's still value there. But then now the person is over following up.
It was two different person actually. So
Oh yeah.
one person reached out to me, which was like the salesperson, and this person put me in contact with their, I don't know, head of engineering or head of sales, to really dive into the product, show me the features and everything. And
Mhm.
then once this call was done, the first person was like, "So are you moving up? Are you doing it? Are you doing it?" And I told the person I was in the call with, like, I don't feel ready right now. I need to see my budget for this year, maybe next month, maybe in 3 months, just give me time to set everything up, and maybe in 3 to 4 months. And then the first person keeps sending me messages every week being like, "Okay, are you ready now? Are you ready now?" So that kind of like breaks
I
the
totally
experience for me.
understand the picture. I totally do. Oh, okay. So so much to touch on, but it's really, I'm learning a lot, and I'm sure that anyone who, gets to watch this will also be learning because I can see the process. So it sounds like an SDR connected you with an account executive, just using general terms here. And now the SDR is following up after that conversation because any SDR is thinking, okay, I brought this person, I want it to, now there's a lot of focus on don't just book a meeting, book
Yeah.
business. So the SDR is probably thinking, okay, I want this to turn into business for my company, but then understanding the timelines and maybe not pushing, maybe if they were sending valuable things like,
Yeah.
and
Or
also
maybe having
explain
like
them.
a better communication between the team members, because maybe the person I was on the phone with didn't tell the first person that I need a few months.
Yeah, so that communication, and maybe instead of just saying when are you buying, when are you buying, maybe they're sending like an article that shows you why this is valuable and why you
Yeah,
should
yeah.
consider it. And also maybe not doing it every week and
Yeah.
listing it out.
And I already said like I need time, but they're like, nope.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is where people talk about the sales process and the buying process. So
Yeah.
understanding where you are on your journey and aligning to that is so important as well. Great. Okay, let's try to get into the next question. What's one powerful outreach medium that salespeople are underutilizing? You said LinkedIn is great for you because you're active there, but is there any other one that you think they should be using that they're not using at all?
Well, for me, what works the best is referral and word of mouth. Like that's really
Hmm.
how I buy most of the services that I buy. Like for Calendly, for Wise, for Stripe, for all the SaaS tools that I use them because I've heard good things from other founders, from other entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
and for them it works out. So I'm getting for it. I think the other approach to like specifically for SaaS products, to be able to have like a free trial where there's a few features to help you, do it by yourself, try to see if that works, and if it doesn't work, that's fine. But the ones that ask you to pay right away and then you realize it's not for you, that doesn't work. Or the ones that you've never heard of them and they try to push it for you. Like sometimes it's on the edge of feeling scammy and it's really hard to know where the boundary is.
Yeah.
So when you hear it from a friend, it's like, I'm using this for this use case, you should try. And then it's perfect because then you can go almost blindly because your friend recommended it. So I think doing more in terms of like presence within the community as a member of the community rather than as a seller, like if you go to a meetup and you talk about how the project works to if your target might be engineers, maybe because like that you create the curiosity without feeling like a car dealership, right? I think being like, I want to give back to the community. Here's a free trial. Like a lot of products, for instance, in the engineering area, they have like free tier for open source products. So they're like, is that their way, to give back? So I own and manage several open source products, and I use free hosting from those companies that are like, we want to sponsor open source libraries, open source products that are good for the community. That's amazing because then I use it for free for my open source product, and I ended up using for my company as a paid customer because it was so good. I was like, well, might as well. I already know it. I've used it for
Mhm.
my own personal project. Might as well use it for my professional life as well. And
Amazing.
so I think all of those like community driven presence, and I call it presence more than marketing. It's just like being here, being part of the
Mhm.
community. I think that's really powerful because that's kind of how I heard about Calendly. They organized an event in San Francisco and everybody was very talking positively about it. Same for Wise, a friend used it and then they hosted an event, and that's how I learned about them. And the event was not about them, they were just here as part of the communities. The entire event was not just them selling it.
Yeah, yeah, adding value, adding value. I
Yeah,
think value
exactly.
will always, being someone who adds value will always separate um, great sales people and great companies that are great at selling their product.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
also,
that's
having like a track record of doing good things as a company, because if you buy a product, you don't really want to buy from the companies that also sells, to the military or whatnot. Like there's like some kind of ethics and things like that.
yeah,
Like it feels bad to be the customer of the same companies that sells to, I don't know, like Palantirs, that go kills people in like nowadays where there's so many options, having a company that have really good ethics and good culture and good values that treat their employee correctly,
hmm,
that's kind of like a good differentiating value as well.
yeah, yeah. That is so true because everybody is so I mean the world is becoming more enlightened. People are more enlightened and people
Mhm.
care. It's like even outside of SaaS and tech in fashion and all
Yeah,
these other industries, people now want to know how are you sourcing your materials? Are
yeah.
you hiring children and all of those things? So,
Yeah. And if the employees are treated well and if there is no,
mhm.
asshole CEOs that
I think
yeah.
that's why there's a lot of investment in ESG now in so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
things.
And like for instance, with Wise, I keep being impressed with this company. You know, it's like an international bank. You can have like every currency. I don't know if you know about them, but last year, because of the interest rate changing in Europe, they had to add a fee for holding a specific amount in your bank account. And they transferred it directly to the customer without increasing it. And they were very transparent. It's like, here's the regulation about the European new interest rate. We're going to have to pay this amount. We are transferring it to you directly. And as soon as it stopped, they removed the fee. And now that the interest rate fluctuated in the other direction, they're giving us back money from holding the money in the bank account. And
Wow.
that was not in the
Wow.
contract, that was not in it. They're like, here we're making money just because we hold your money, we should share it with you. And it's like nothing, you know, it's like with 0.0%, you know, it's like not much, but just the fact they do it, you know,
That's
it's
so
like I
nice.
can trust this company, they're on my side, we in it together. And that's really that's kind of like a nice experience. Like, and that's kind of like the, you know, the sales experience end to end. It's like it shouldn't stop after you sign. It continues through the journey until you stop using the company.
I'm just writing down trust is a currency of exchange. Trust, like people,
Yeah.
people are going to just buy things with trust, you know. Is this person trustworthy? Okay, I'll go with them. I think we already hear this in the VC world. People invest in people, you know, when you see
Yeah.
someone who's reliable, disciplined, hardworking, and all that.
And also the customer experience, right? Like from beginning to end, you want, like for instance, there was this company, I don't remember what it was, but like maybe it was a prospect. I don't remember how I got to meet them, but I was very interested by their product. And I was like, okay, maybe we can work together. And then they started sending me, you know, Word document with typos in it. And I need to like edit the document myself to put my name in it. It's like, can't you just send me like a DocuSign? You know, I click a button, it's done. Like, I mean, instead of going back and forth with a Google, with a Word document that I need to download, modify, change back, you know, it's like,
Wow. So making the process easy for
yeah, it's like, you know, frictionless, like end to end, right? It's like, I want to know what I'm buying. I want to try it before I buy it. And then when I buy it, I want it to be easy.
so interesting. I like the way today's conversation has gone because it's touching on so many key topics that are trending right now. And okay, so I have another question. As
Okay.
um somebody who is a founder, um, what would you say to sellers on behalf of other founders out there who are getting cold outreaches from sellers with different products and approaches to sell? So we're wrapping this up. I'm just thinking, what is there
Yeah.
anything that is coming to your mind that you think you really want to either emphasize or make sure that you mention?
I think to sell to founders, one avenue of reaching will be through accelerator programs because they're all here. You know, it's a bundle of startups already together and they're going to talk to each other. So if you manage to organize an event with them or set up like maybe some credits for the accelerators that can, you know, allocate it to their startup so that they can try the product and get to it. Also, every startup nowadays are very different from each other. That's the goal of a startup, right? Is to be innovative and unique. So if you send a copy paste of the same message to everyone, it might not work out. Like you might want to do more investigation and have more field in your template. And also make sure that the template don't miss the field because so many times I've received, you know, hello, curly bracket first name, you know, it's like, okay, you didn't fill up your database there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, just to recap what you said, accelerators are a great place to reach
Yeah.
founders and
And you know they already have deals with Amazon. You know they have like $1,000 credit to start. I feel like more SaaS company could do the same because when you're a startup, you don't have a lot of resources, but you can't afford to try something without knowing it will work. So
Mhm.
having some free credit to try will actually reduce the risk of trying something new. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work out. But if it works, then you know they're gonna be with you until they are $1 billion company, maybe.
Right, right. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the Buyer Seller, Leo. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I feel like I'm gonna have to go back and review my notes from this chat. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
this the second episode is a wrap. I really appreciate your making the time to be here.
Yeah, thank you. And if anybody want to reach out, if a startup is listening for and need help for software product development or with their pitch deck or with their tech team, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. I'm very easy to find.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, Leo. Take
You
care.
too. Bye.
Bye.